Welcome to the Brick Builders Podcast by Coronado's Brick House.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Brick Builders Podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting Drew Briggs, an adult fan of Lego, and I appreciate him coming on to the podcast. You know, he's a creative mind behind the Late Night Bricks podcast, so you have your own podcast show as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's been fun. 10 episodes deep, almost 11 this weekend. So.
Well, I just want to thank you for joining me today on our own first episode of the Brick Builders Podcast, where we want to have other YouTubers and creative Lego fans kind of join in and just have an open discussion. And I understand that's pretty much like what you're doing too. So it's kind of awesome that I ran into you and asked you to join the podcast. I didn't even realize you had your own podcast when I initially asked you to join.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for the invitation. I'm stoked to be here. I love being on podcasts and being on shows and live streams and stuff like that. So I'm honored that you see my value in what I do and you wanted to have me on, and especially as your first guest. So very stoked about that and very appreciative. And yeah, it's most people don't know I do like the podcasts or anything like that, and I try to promote it as much as I can and stuff like that. But it's everyone thinks they're just live streams because I do it live, but yeah, yep. It's fun though, and I enjoy it. So
yeah, and that's kind of the whole thing, is to have a collaborative environment with other people in the Lego community. So I guess besides that, is there anything else that you want to share about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I started off as like a mock builder when I first joined the Lego community online, I guess you could say, as a representation of myself. I was always in the Lego community like when I was a kid. Like I remember the first set that I ever truly got was a Star Wars set. I just remember it so vividly because it was at Walmart, and I saw that first Star Wars battle pack with the OG clones and like the OG MTT up on the shelves, and we were walking through there as a family, and I just was staring at it, and my dad's like, let's go, and he just saw me enjoying it so much that he's like, we're gonna get him this. It's like, back then it was like $7 or $10, so it was a lot cheaper, and so we got that, and that was the lifelong blood of starting off with Lego and going from Bionicle to Star Wars to City to the OG Vikings, which I love so much, the castle, but I think my main area of expertise is definitely in the Star Wars, and that's what I'm a big fan of. And so going into that, I started doing more mocking. I destroyed more sets than what I always had. So my sister was always pissed off at me because she liked to play with them too, especially with like the sail barge. She thought that was like a beautiful build, that OG sail barge. And she actually went and cried to my parents, like, he's destroying that set. I want that. I love that play with that set. She goes, it's his set. He could do whatever he wants with it. And so I think that's what really got me into mock building. Just taking apart my sets and seeing what I could build next. I remember trying to build big rocket ships. I remember when that OG police station came out, trying to make that bigger and better and holding more criminals, I guess you could say, in there. And having them break out and having a big city, and then building clone bases like when David Hall was doing his first clone base, and like Michael MGF Customs when he was doing clone bases. I remember trying to do that and having the realization is I don't have money to get a whole bunch of 2x4 bricks in one color, and I thought 50 of those would work, and that hard realization that does not work hit in really hard. So there was some disappointment there, but that I think only made it go better, because then I started doing some stop motion. I remember Apple had a whole summer class that my dad signed my sister and I up for, and they're like, let's make films for the summer or whatever, and I think it was like a couple of week program, and I did a whole like Halo Reach stop motion that probably will never see the daylight of YouTube, because not only one do I not want people to see it, but I lost the file for it. So but yeah, so dude,
man, I know that feeling all too well.
Right, Right?
Actually, most people don't know this either, but originally I've been doing YouTube videos for probably half of my life, and I'm 30 now. So honestly, I had to have been a young teenager where I was actually making the stop motion videos as well.
Yeah.
Back on Window Movie Maker. You might not. Are you familiar with that at all?
I've never used it, but I know about it. And so like I know I did a lot on iMovie because I always had Apple growing up. And so
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
and then they started coming out with what are those, like a little comic book to make stop motion. Lego made their own stop motion app and stuff like that when I was a kid.
So they had it pretty easy, like user friendly for somebody who really had no clue where to start, I'm guessing. Or
Yeah,
how would you say that journey started?
a little bit when they came out.
I guess with your family.
Yeah, definitely. Like my dad is pretty technologically savvy, but I still learned a lot more on my own. And so just taking pictures and then downloading them to the computer and trying to get them as quick as possible to make it look super flowy. But yeah, then Lego came out with the stop motion app, which I actually ended up hating more than anything else because it kept lagging a lot because it was like in beta and stuff like that. So I just kind of still stuck to just doing iMovie. And then when I got into college, I got Final Cut Pro, and in my personal life, I do a lot more photography and videos, and so using that helps a lot. But I don't use Final Cut Pro anymore because I have a Apple Air Mac from like 2013, so it sounds like a helicopter or a jet trying to take off, and it takes forever just to make a 1 minute long video, so I stopped using that. And so hopefully soon I'll be building my own PC to run some more like Adobe and stuff, because that's what I use now is Adobe Rush, just because that's what this HP Windows computer can semi-handle, and it gets the job done, and transferring files from my Sony and my iPhone over and stuff like that. And so that's why the time lapses are always a little more interesting, because I use my phone because it saves a lot more space than it does on my camera, even though it has like a 64 gigabyte card. I like preserving the battery for those more buttery, crispy shots.
Yeah, I hear ya. So I guess I did want to kind of hear more about your YouTube experience, and you shared a little bit there about how you started your Lego YouTube experience, but I'm curious to hear a little bit more in depth on how that started and what made you want to start back up into doing it, and then what sort of success you've seen and collaborations you've done as well.
Yeah. So I guess going back to the start of how I got into YouTube was definitely some stop motion animation, but just watching, like, I remember like Rich Boy J when he did his wrestling videos, stop motions, David Hall, or I guess Solid Brick Studios, and Michael MGF Customs, like when they would just do building clone bases. And so I tried to build stuff like them. Then eventually when I got my own phone, I started doing more recording and uploading to YouTube. But I don't even know what I was originally called back then. So I don't even know if that page is still even alive. But then when I got into high school, I started doing more filming. I was known as Bricktown Studios. I did a lot of filming on that, and into college, because I came back home for college, for community college. So I had a lot of free time, and I was staying in my original room growing up that had a bunch of Legos. So I was like, let's do a Utapau build, let's do a Kashyyyk build, let's do a Moonalis build. And so I started filming all those, and I remember I was just obsessed with the views, that I would just look at my phone in the middle of movies or in the middle of hanging out with people to see how many views do I have now? How many views do I have now? And I became obsessed with it and instantly became burnt out, because we all know within 5 minutes, you're not going to get 1,500 views in between each 5-10 minute period, because you're just starting out. And so it was definitely a real frustration and trying to gain that I got burnt out. And I stopped doing videos, and I stopped doing Instagram, and then I moved across the country to Tennessee. Had no Legos, until now, where I was like, I really want to get back into the Lego experience. I have the master bedroom that has 2 rooms, so one of them's my Lego room, the other one is my bedroom. Of course, the bigger one is the Lego room. And so I started collecting more Lego. I almost thought about rebuying my whole collection, but then I went home this last Thanksgiving and sent back 110 pounds of Legos across the country. So that was surprisingly not that expensive. It only cost $315 with like $500 worth of insurance on each box, which would get pretty close to covering one box. But it all made it here safely, except for a few bags exploding. But the boxes were intact, so that's always nice. But then, in the meantime of trying to figure out if I wanted to buy my own Lego collection again or ship it, I started collabing with other creators through Late Night Bricks. It used to be called Late Night Lego, but I got called by Lego to change the name out of Lego. Luckily, I don't have to do anything else with changing previous episodes or thumbnails, just because it's not making any money, and they didn't ask for cease and desist. They said just moving forward, change it. So it's been
That's
awesome.
interesting that Lego they reached out to you and told you to change the name of that. I guess they just don't want you using their brand name, because are you part of the ambassador network at all?
No, I am not. I've never applied. I've never been reached out to by them. I don't know if I want to be. I probably won't be allowed to, because I've said some stuff about Lego, like, why does Lego do this? I don't like this, you know. And sometimes I feel like land might, not people in land, but land might make it be where you can't say very what you feel. That you have to love everything that you get, which I feel like I would mostly, but I like the part where I can say how I feel about a set, that I don't mind buying that set later down the line. Even though it'd be cool to get free Lego from LAN, I don't know. I just, for some reason, the control aspect I'm not the biggest fan of. But I get why they have it, because it's promoting a product. You're going to have to say something good. And I've had some experience, like with a few brand deals. I got one with Lee Light Go, and I really loved their lights. And I think it's called Dust My Bricks or Clean My Bricks, the vacuum for them. So I'm excited to do that video. But collabing with other creators has been my most joy. I really started that because in Tennessee there's not very many lugs. There's like one that I know well of, and they're both in Knoxville and in Alabama. Or yeah, Knoxville and Alabama, which are both 2 hours in either direction, so it'd be a 4-hour round trip, which could be worth it, but I don't really feel like paying the gas money and driving every weekend somewhere, because it's all in person. And so with the podcast show idea, I was like, this is my personal lug here. This is how I get to create with other people. I can be in my Lego room, they can be in their Lego room, and it totally brings back that nostalgic idea of being in each other's Lego room, building Lego, talking about Lego, the joys and the struggles and the achievements that we come across. And so having that just totally flashbacks to having friends over in your Lego room, and now we get to do it virtually. And I think that was one thing that was awesome that came out of COVID, was that we can do this, that we can share this enjoyment, be in each other's Lego rooms, and virtually have a conversation about what we love and are truly passionate about. In a place where, like at work, they all call me now Drew Bricks, because I told one person about my Instagram, and now it's blowing up all over work. But in the sense of like, I can go on here and people know exactly what I'm talking about, exactly how I feel about a set, because they have the same passion, they have the same goals, they have the same feelings. That like at work, they're not going to really have someone that feels the same way that they do about it. And so starting that podcast really brought to light how I feel and how good it is to have that as a reward of meeting others and collabing with creators, big and small. And starting that show, I wanted people who stuck out to me, not just only like the big creators, because people love to see them and hear more about their backstory, and getting to meet them for the first time is always awesome. But also the smaller creators that really stick out, that that only have like 300 followers on Instagram or 500 followers, and bring into light their voice in the Lego community. I always thought that'd be really fun, because people who said yes to me when I only had 1,000 followers thought the same way, probably, like, this is a true, genuine person that has an interest in my life, and want to know me more. And so doing that really makes me happy, and getting to know people and talking to people, and being on your show, and vice versa, it's such a good feeling. And this is what I feel like the Lego community is all about, and it doesn't feel so lonely anymore. I could say. So hopefully,
Yeah,
in a long words, that hopefully answered your question. I know I probably went on a few tangents, but
No, I mean, it's good to touch on these points. I think that you're totally right with the rise of virtual communications and being able to connect via video. It really allows people to connect with like-minded people in a way that allows them to feel fulfilled in their own passions. And that is one good thing that's really come out of COVID. Like you said, we're using a whole new Riverside studio. I'm curious to see how this will work out for this podcast.
Yeah.
Moving forward, and there's just so much new technologies and things that are really helping people connect out there. And I agree. I too noticed that Lego was a kind of an area that I could meet other people and have a like-minded connection and just have a fun engagement with the community. And that's one reason why I started my channels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like one thing to text somebody on Instagram DM, or do a live stream and they're in the chat, or comment on people's videos. Like, that's one thing. It's like, oh, cool. Like, people care about what I do, but it's another to do face to face, even if it's virtual, looking at cameras or looking at the screen. It sticks out more that when you get those comments, when you get those DMs, when they pop up in your live streams and say, hey, how's it going? Like, or engage in the conversation and ask questions, like, it sticks out 1,000 times more, and truly means something. It's like, hey, these are my friends showing up. It's like if I was doing a recital or something, that they're there to show up in the audience to cheer me on. And even if I make a mistake or do extremely well, like, they're always there to have my back. And I think that changes a lot, and makes the soul very happy, you could say.
Yeah, it's good to find something that you're passionate about and to be able to have this community. I guess, how have you seen your community grow, and when did you kind of start this journey, and where do you see yourself kind of going forward?
So starting the journey, oh man, I don't know. I definitely did start off with like throwing at the wall and see what sticks, posting every single day. But I also did where if I wasn't feeling it, I'm not going to do it kind of thing. And so for the first month, I made sure I posted once or twice a day on the social media apps that I use. TikTok I somewhat use, but not really. I mainly am on Instagram and YouTube. So I definitely try to stick to those two and post every single day. I didn't do long form content on YouTube, and I think that really bit me in the butt, because I got the subscriber count within 60 days. Like right now I'm at 1,400 subscribers, and I started back in July, and so I've definitely stopped that progression, but it's a slow growth now, and I'm very happy about that because I feel like I have a core audience. I'm trying to grow my long form content now, and so like
I am too, and that's why I got this going as well.
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot. My show definitely helps in that way. I still haven't hit my 4,000 or 3,000 hours. I'm definitely not going to hit 10 million short views unless a video randomly pops off. but I'm trying to really grow that long form content, because I feel short form content is definitely hard but easy to do. You can always grab your phone and just edit something real quick. But I feel like the long form content, people are there to really support you, really hear what you have to say and see what you're building in a more in-depth version. So I've kind of almost started using reels and shorts as a longer form of a story that you would post like on Instagram. And so I started doing that more, and there's been some like help with it, but I'm definitely really trying to grow those watch hours, and get that solved. So hopefully I can make money doing my hobby. I think that's almost the goal.
I know
for
Lego's
everybody.
an expensive hobby.
Yeah, right. I would like to get to the membership part and have people who really care what I do and support the channel, and that way I can do bigger and better things. Like I really want to do a big Minecraft custom world. I've been really inspired by Cheesy Studios, his video quality, his voice, his style of building is just paving the way for new creators and inspiring creators like me to want to do something like that. Not necessarily copy and paste what he's doing, but put my own spin on it, because I feel like a Minecraft world you can put any kind of spin on and go for it. But I feel like he's really laying down the path of how this will go and how techniques are being made for mocking in the Minecraft world. And he's even listening to what his fans are saying and how he should do things. And I think that's brilliant. And he was on Lego Masters, and that's something he barely even talks about, which is a big achievement. So yeah, it's those things that really inspire me and want to do better and having that community to grow in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check out some of his stuff because I've never heard of him. But when I came back into this community too, I likewise kind of went through the same thing that it sounds like you went through. And I mean, it's just so interesting seeing some of the things that other people are doing. It's really surpassing Lego in a lot of respect because, I mean, they're selling the pieces, trying to make their money and whatnot, but doing sets. But really the mock creations that other people are doing really highlight what can be done. And even, I mean, Lego's taking inspiration and build like amazing sets too. But it's just some of the things that people are creating is out of this world.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where like Lego ideas really comes into play, that we can have phenomenal builders build us custom sets that Lego most likely wouldn't do unless it was for the insider and that we all vote for. I think there's some that are way better than others, but like the Viking village and the medieval castle and stuff like that, I think that's amazing. Or like the UCS gunship. I know a lot of people don't care for it. I love it. It's a perfect combination of, it's still Technic, so it'll stay extremely strong, but it's also brick built, so it looks beautiful to me. Sadly, that did. I'm looking over there in the box. It did not make it, so I have to take it all apart and rebuild it from scratch again. But same with the medieval blacksmith shop. Those are all sets that I got from what is that, Bricks and Minifigs. So it already comes pre-built. So I gotta rebuild them all, which I'm excited for, and look for those streams out there, all you Spotify listeners and the YouTube watchers. Come check it out on the live streams that I'll eventually do. I have no idea when, but yeah, it's with this YouTube thing, it's definitely a slow growth. It's I feel like if it's not growing within a year, there's some either drastic changes that need to be done or switch platforms kind of feel that, I don't know. I hope to be more successful within a year, but or there's going to have to be some drastic changes, because obviously I wouldn't be doing something right then.
Yeah, I guess how do you see that like transpiring as well? I know me too, I've only been doing this for about a year, like half of the year I've been maybe like active on it, but I mean, I'm also curious about how I can kind of uplift this to the next level. So where do you see yourself taking future steps with your channel and other social platforms?
Yeah, I think That's a good question. I think basically I want to try to stay away from reviewing as much as possible of sets, unless it's a set that really, really sticks out to me. Just because there's so many other people that do phenomenal reviews, and with being in LAN, you get the sets first, so they're already gonna have, like, Tiago makes beautiful reviews of sets. You know what you're getting when you watch his video, not
Right.
only from the video but in the set that you hope to buy. So I think he's totally mastered that. That I think I see myself more staying in the mock building era, the more short reels, how to take a set and make it better, because that's what Lego wants. They want, here's the set, either take it apart, display it, or make it better. And so I really like the idea of taking sets that you can have and with your own pieces without having to go through crazy Bricklink doing that. Like with, let me see here, I have I took Johnny Thunder and the classic Land Rover Defender, and I made it so that it actually looked like it was off-roading with a custom bumper, front bumper, light pods, and actual side mirrors, while keeping true to the set that came with it, that it's easy to pop off and on. It's just a little bracket and it's back on again. And so it's those things, and just adding Johnny Thunder that a lot of us still have from kids, and adding a parrot on top. It's like something that probably cost maybe $3 if you wanted to off Bricklink to build, or just even with your own pieces you could easily build all this, because it's all stuff that come in normal sets. That I really like that idea. Or getting custom sets from Brick Vault or Brick Tech Studios with their Halo stuff. It's a lot of fun. Or like back there, like display cases, or my Clone Trooper from 2 Bricks. It's those things that really stick out to me. Or like doing video series on my Jedi Temple mock, or doing a big Minecraft custom world. That's stuff I thrive for. It's stuff that I care about, that I feel like I don't mind staying up till 3 a.m. editing to post the next morning. That's totally what I did last night for the Viking Village. I was so
I gotta
pumped
finish
about
a
it.
video right now too. I'm gonna go check that video out though. The Viking
Thanks.
Village video.
Yeah,
I'll go check it out. And
yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. It definitely mixes the short term, like, do you have someone special in your life? And then it cuts into a video, and it's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it's more of a review style, but I put more story to it. Why is this set important to me? Because my girlfriend got it for me. So my birthday's in November, the end of November. She got it on pre-order, the day that it came out on pre-order, I think, which was in August or something like that. She heard me talking about how cool I thought it was. She went and pre-ordered that thing. So telling that story and how much that means to me is why I would do a review on that set, compared to like doing a review on like Jabba's Palace or something like that, which is just another set to get the minifigures. I also like to have her do like with the creator sets, having her do those and doing little short form content. She loves that. She has the voice for it. She's got the inflections in her voice to really capture those little builds, and she loves doing it, and it's popping off. She loves it, you know? And
dude, that's a great point. What's funny is my girlfriend last night too said the same thing. She was like, if you ever want me to voice over a video, I'll do it for you. So
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I think I might have to try to take your inspiration on that and try it out one time.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I mean, she loves the little, like, these are like $15 or whatever. And for all the Spotify listeners, come watch the video, because we're showing what we're talking about here. Yeah, she loves the little $15 builds, the $20 builds, because it only takes an hour or hour and a half for her to do, and she gets so much a serotonin boost from it. And then I edit the video, and she's like, "Oh, I get to do a voiceover now?" I'm like, "Yeah, here you go." And she gets the voiceover perfect to what she wants, and she gets to sit in my studio and sit here in front of the mic and the camera and the whole 9 yards. And I'm even thinking about having her on the podcast of like, what's it like to date a YouTube creator, and stuff like that. And so it's exciting, and it's really, really nice to have someone who really supports you and really listens to you about a hobby that for many, many years I didn't tell very many people outside of the community that I was into, because it wasn't something to be proud of. It felt like telling others because they didn't understand. And now, like, my family's always known about it because they've stepped on millions of Legos in my room. That when they go and tell people, they're like, "Yeah, he has 11,000 followers on Instagram." They're like, "What?
I want to create a
He's like,
meme about that.
Oh yeah, I know, right? They're like building Lego, and so they're like, "Wow, really? There's a community in that?" And they're like, yeah, there's a huge community in that." And so it's just a lot of fun. I and going with that and like gaining success in that era. I mean, not major success, but some success, you could say. I don't know if I want to do it full time. I definitely like it as a way that my schedule works out perfectly. I only work Monday through Thursday doing 10-hour shifts working construction that I have from 5:30 till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night to make videos and post them, or I have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to really work on my stuff and finesse it and release a video that next morning. Especially when you can schedule posts and stuff like that. That's really, really nice.
It's made it a lot easier. I've noticed that with
Definitely.
other social media platforms versus a few years ago when I was utilizing them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of the stuff that I make on Instagram or YouTube Shorts, like, I can usually just spend a few hours because I'm either building the thing and then filming it and then uploading it, or take my time, like with these longer form videos, or I use the Sony camera. It's gonna take longer because I got to transfer it between software stuff, but it makes a big difference, and I really like the buttery, crispy image that you get when using a more high quality camera. So I think I'll be utilizing the scheduling post more, that if I can make 2 or 3 videos in a week and release them once a week, it'd be really, really, really nice to do that and utilize that more. I know I definitely got into like opening up Bricklink packages and doing a little ASMR kind of thing, but more just to show like what pieces I got. And I've been thinking about maybe I'll do a longer form content, like I'll release little tidbits like on Instagram and stuff, but then save a long form, really nice video of the pieces that I got. Especially if it has collectible minifigures in them or something like that, or rare pieces like sand red that they don't even make anymore. Really highlighting that would really stick out, and I'd probably really enjoy doing that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. People see. I've had a few comments that just crack me up. Like, one of my videos for opening up a Bricklink packages hit like 40,000 views on Instagram. And someone commented, "Are you going to build something, or are you just going to play Tickle Monster with the bag?" And I lost it. I thought that was hilarious. Like, I told them, like, that made my day. That was hilarious, And they're like, "Good. It was supposed to be a joke, but are you going to build something?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you check out the Jedi Temple update in that video that's right after it, you'll see." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks." And but yeah, it's just it's fun things like that. For some reason, people like watching Bricklink orders get opened up, and I mean I do, and it's something satisfying. It's something that we all, I think, enjoy doing. That is a serotonin boost, that even when someone else posts a video about it, it's like, ooh, yeah, like I've had that same experience. Like, oh, these pieces. Or when a seller doesn't bag everything in individual bags, especially when you pay $40 or more, it's like they all came individually sorted, and then you just put them in one big bag. That's another topic to talk about. But that frustration and joys of a Bricklink order is definitely something worth talking about and showing in a Lego community.
Yeah, Drew, I want to just kind of wrap it up here, but I want to really thank you for hopping on the podcast and kind of sharing your insights and expertise in the Lego community. It's been insightful for me, another creator, to just hear your experiences, kind of what you're doing and where things are going in your mind, and how it's really just a creative environment where we can all do whatever we want, and we all kind of support each other and do different things, but also it's kind of all similar under the Lego umbrella. But I guess, is there anything you want to say to shout out or throw out your social medias?
Yeah. First, I'll say thanks for having me on as your first guest. I'm definitely honored and appreciate the invitation, and definitely feels wild being on the other side of the screen being interviewed. Definitely was nervous. I'm like, will I be able to like coherently make any good sentences? But I just want to say
No,
thank
you did great, man.
to I appreciate that. I want to say thank you to having me on here and on your show. Yeah, definitely check out my Instagram, Drew Bricks, and my YouTube, Drew Bricks. I think it's 212, but pretty sure if you search Drew Bricks, you'll find it. I also have all my links.
Yeah, you should change that because it was harder to find you on
Oh, really?
YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can.
Yeah, I would
change that.
recommend that.
Yeah. I got links in the Instagram bio as well to the YouTube and TikTok and all that other jazz. And check out Late Night Lego. I have an Instagram page for that as well. That's where you'll get a lot of information on who the next guests are. But yeah, thank you again, Kyle or Coronado Brick House. I appreciate you having me on here, man. It's been an honor.
Yeah, thanks. I had fun with this as well. But yeah, if you want, I'll even come on to your podcast if you don't mind one day.
Yeah, definitely.
We can just kind of do the same thing, but I'll let you lead it.
Sounds good, man. I love the idea of that.
All right. Well, thanks, Drew. Hopefully, everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Stop by for another episode, and who knows what's going to happen next. But thank you, Drew, once again, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and that was everyone else listening.